Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is going on? What is going on, people? Let me that on live. Certainly hope it sounds all right. Mic is low. Okay. Let me go to this thing here. Oh. Desktop audio. Hopefully it's fixed now. I'm all the way up on the yellow. Oh yeah. I am definitely that. Where do I need to go to? Need to go here. Why does this never work correctly? You know what's moist is my chat box. It never works right. Like it should be working right now. Oh well. It is moist. I don't have enough T flops to run the chat box, I guess. So, uh, I did turn it up on OBS. Hold on. There, it's all the way up. Is that better? Hopefully, it's better. So, but yeah, it should be okay. It's hitting in the yellow or the red, kind of on the red now. Yeah, it's better. Or no, it's still low. I turned it all the way up to the still kind of low. Oh my god. Okay. All right. I unplugged it and plugged it back in. At that point, I don't know what to do at this point because it's all the way up. Huh, that is odd. It is low. Hmm, that is strange. All righty. Oh, man, I may have to go to StreamYard then. I always have a backup plan. But it's not working right because the chat box is not popping up on the screen. Oh, the problem is fixed now. Okay. Now, let's see if we can get the what's up plus ultra. Appreciate that, Big Cloud. I am now trying to figure out why the chat box isn't working. Let's see here. I double click it. And we've got the theme. Let me put it on chunky. All right, now it's working. Your daughter just turned a month and a half. Congratulations. That is great news. Hope everybody, hope mom and daughter and yourself, hope you had a good press the I. Okay. The I. There, I did that. I'm in open chat right now because I'm gonna go on a rant. And then I'm gonna drop down to the sit chord. Actually, I'll just jump in the sit chord right now. So anybody who is in the sit who wants to go to the sit chord, actually I'll do it on the porch light one. Hold on, let me do this one. Let me go to this one. Don't we have a? All right, I'll just go to the RGT and I'll be in the open chat. I'll be in the open chat. So, and if anybody wants to jump in there and explain what in the Sam hell is going on out there, because yeah, as we opened up, I played a song that was one of my favorites. by the Doobie Brothers. That was Michael McDonald. And the name of the song is What a Fool Believes, 1979. So, but oh, thank you, Mr. Clay. I played some music before you got on. I took a page out of your book. So yeah, today we're gonna let's see here. I'm trying to figure out. Well, let me start. So what you can see right now, Assassin's Creed Valhalla on PC is going to be 60 frames a second. Now, if you want, instead of buying a Series X, I can give you the PC setup so that you can play the game at 60 frames a second at 1080p, ultra settings. All right, high to ultra settings, okay? So, appreciate it, Mr. G. Ho. Shout out to you. So, another announcement for the channel is, well, first things first. Yeah, we hit 1,250 subs, so I'm thinking about starting a membership tier. I'm thinking about having like 3 to 4 tiers. I don't know which one to do yet. As a matter of fact, I'll probably just do one tier. I'll do 2 tiers. I've decided on 2 tiers. So one will be and I'll announce that probably on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday morning if everything works out for me. But let's see here. Yeah, I played it at the beginning of the podcast, Lincoln. But I'm gonna go ahead and get some libation before I get this one started, because I need it. Here we go. Here we go. Hold on. Keep sending him somewhere back in long ago. Yet to be created. All righty. Yeah, White Zaddy has totally destroyed these Xbox, but I mean, once again, well, one tier will be a membership tier. I think your name will turn a different color. You'll get a patch. I think that's what it was offering, and so I'm thinking about doing that. So you know, but that is like that's a moist patch. If you're in that first tier 1, that's going to be the moist patch. And so that tier will be there. Then I'm thinking about the second tier will be a game tier, tier. Okay, so if you're in that tier and you want to play some online games, which I will play. I've got the Division and Predator. I've got some online games that everybody can play. So, but and it's only like $1.99 to be in the moist patch. That's fine. If you're moist, you're moist. It is what it is. So then I think tier 2 I'm going to call the Butter Biscuit Brigade patch. So or that tier will be the Butter Biscuit Brigade, and then we'll have the moist patch brigade, and everybody will just the Butter Biscuit people will be like a $3.99 tier. I'm just thinking about having 2 tiers, and I'm hopefully to get 5 people in each tier. That's the goal by the end of the year, to have 5 people in each tier. And just let me know, yeah, the Butter Biscuit tier, the BBT. Speaking of BBT, ah. All righty. But shout out to everybody that's here. So shout out to Lincoln Clay. He's over here in 3D. And 3D in VR. I believe Sunny in VR is here. So the third tier will be the Mass Effect tier. I may name it that too. You just don't know. I may name it the Reaper tier for all I know. So, but yeah, shout out to everybody's here. Now, hopefully, if you're in the Xbox community, and you are here to learn the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, because people have been lying to you. I'm also, and for everybody to know this, shout out to BitCloud. He's gonna make another background for me. The name of my new podcast will be the XRD Podcast. Again, XRD Podcast. So, and it will be an Xbox centric podcast. So, but yeah, I'll be the host, and I'm looking for a co-host that does Xbox gaming. So if anybody plays on the Xbox, okay, let me make this clear, and you want to co-host, that is an open invitation. So, um, mm, so let me start with the what's up, Ewa Matador. So Assassin's Creed 60 FPS on PC. Now, if you want to play this game at 60 FPS, and the minimum specs, because I found out about 20 minutes ago. So the minimum specs will be like yeah, the podcast is going to start June 1st. Okay, the podcast will start June 1st. Actually, scratch that. It'll be June 29th. The podcast will start June 29th. Okay. What color do I want the background? I'll let you know Wednesday, Big Cloud. Probably black. Probably just black. Hopefully animated, because I want some smoke coming from it. Maybe, I don't know. But probably like a basic color, like black or green. Like, well, it's an Xbox podcast, so we'll do it like a greenish, kind of an off green color. Don't they always say they bleed green or something like that? Like they have gamma radiation, like the Hulk. I think the Hulk bleeds green too, doesn't he? I can't remember if he does or not. So, but yeah, kind of a similar format. Maybe put the different Xboxes generationally, kind of in the shape of an L or the shape of an X. I don't know if there's been enough. There's the Xbox, the 360, the SAD, the Fat Boy, the S, the X, and the Series A. Yeah, I mean, make an X kind of out of the 3, out of the 7, something like that. So yeah, fanboys and L's go together like peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, they took a giant L again today, but again, I don't blame it on Series X because it's not the Series X's fault. That architecture is still new. That is brand new architecture. These games that are coming out, again, I don't know why they believe this whole 12 T-flops and VRS and ray tracing. If you really look at it, AMD does not have any cards that they've got out to the consumer that does that. None of them. I mean, their highest end card, I guess, is the Radeon 7. But out of their Navi line, which is what the PlayStation and the Xbox are being made off of, their best Navi card is a 5700 XT, and it does not do any kind of ray tracing. It doesn't. I've looked into it. Okay, if you don't believe me, I looked into it. So, and that card I think is maybe it's $399 right now. So, it's the card. Okay, and again, the card does not do ray tracing, doesn't do VRS, doesn't do all this crazy stuff that these guys are talking about. So, and I saw Sick Humor say something. The top tier NVIDIA card, which costs over $1,200, which he's right. It costs over $1,200. It can't do ray tracing at 60 frames a second. It struggles. That's reality. I'm not here to say that. Now the 3000 series that they're coming out with, they mean NVIDIA, that they're coming out with, that card may be able to do something better. We don't know yet. We don't know. So why you guys believe a bunch of podcasters who don't have access to the dev kits, okay? They don't have a Series X dev kit. I want you to really think about how this all played out. Without a dev kit in front of them, you believe that they were going to be able to do variable rate shading and 4K native gaming at 60 frames standard per second and ray tracing. I just where are you? Who are you guys listening to that's telling you this? I know who it is. Okay, I know who it is. So, but we're not gonna. There's no reason to lie to you. okay, to make you feel better. So we saw yesterday, shout out to Jazz Grinds My Gears. You do realize that the Series X is going to be doing true 4K. Now, what is true 4K? True 4K is dynamic 4K. True 4K is checkerboarding and native 4K. Those are the techniques that they use to get the 4K. Those are still going to be done. So I don't know why you guys thought this. I know who told you this. And I'm telling you right now, in the words of Mark Morrison, you all need to go to that podcast and be like, you lied to me. That's what you need to do. Because the Xbox, the people who actually physically make the console, what did they tell you? They told you that we won't be making games for this console for about another 2 to 3 years. They didn't lie. They told you the truth. I mean, you get caught up in all these spec numbers and stuff like that. So the truth is don't believe the hype. Now, you guys are too young to remember Public Enemy, probably. Did a song called Don't Believe the Hype. All right? And you need to wait for real world specs. Now, I remember a gentleman who would come into the chat named Corey Massey. He tried to tell several people. He tried to tell somebody that called himself No Russian. He tried to tell somebody named Andre Moist Fruit Booty Clay that, hey, look, man, you need to write on some real world specs until you start going out here writing checks that your ego won't cash. And that's exactly what's happening. So again, this is the fanboys taking a massive L, okay? Again, not the Series X. This is you all wanting to believe what legally is called facts not in evidence. All right? Xbox has not come out. Microsoft hasn't come out and said that this game is going to be they don't have any games right now 4K native, 60 frames a second with ray tracing and VRS. None. They have not confirmed any of that. Seriously, what game have they confirmed? So what game? Yeah, Anthony is right. Anthony Chipmunk is right. White Zaddy came out today and busted you all's cheeks again. What's it gonna take? Okay, what's it gonna take? I got an email earlier today from Johnson & Johnson talking about they running out of lubrication because you clowns keep on getting butt fucked in front of everybody. So instead of you all just waiting on real world specs, now I'm able to say what I'm about to say now, which is the PS5 is the world's most powerful console. And I can say that until I see something that proves me wrong. I'm not going to believe the paper specs. I'll wait on real world specs. Do you see how easy that works? I don't care what the Series X says it can do on paper. Hell, on paper, the 2060 is a more powerful GPU than the 5600 XT. But the 5600 XT is outperforming it in like 40 games that were tested. It outperformed it in 26 games. So your paper specs don't mean dick. They don't. You know, these things have real world performances put on them. This unbelievable bullshit coming out of these people's mouths. Now, I want an explanation from the Xbox community on, do you even know what 52 CUs are? Okay, do you understand what those actually do? Do you understand what a T-flop actually does? Not the number, but what it actually does with the GPU. Because I get an explanation. I mean, I should not be seeing games at 30 frames a second according to you guys. Even though I sat here and said, you know, gee whiz, these games are being spec'd to the lowest common denominator, which is the GCN architecture. So you're going to still get games at 30 frames a second. You know, I'm pretty sure I sat here and said that. I'm pretty sure I sat here and said you will get games that are still checkerboarded. You will get games that are still native, and you will get games that are dynamic. And it was, no, you don't know what you're talking about. The Xbox X has this, it has that. You know, it has the ability to play shoots and ladders and do all this kind of stuff. I mean, that's what you guys sounded like. Just moist as hell. Now you look stupid. You look stupid. Not the Xbox Series X, the kit itself. It's a good kit. It's a good kit on paper. But you guys introducing facts, not in evidence, and oh, we have all your screenshots saved. All of them. Including the ones that said that, oh, the multi-plats are going to look and run better. Well, the first multi-plat confirmed is going to look and run the same. And for all I know, it's gonna look better. It's gonna look better on the PlayStation for all I know. You know, because the PlayStation has got more power. It's got a faster SSD. Okay. And I was gonna do an SSD podcast today. I wrote down all these beautiful notes on the SSD, and for both consoles, for Xbox and PlayStation, because you guys are in for a world of hurt.
You need fraud D-Bachon here in bus one.
No, you all need to stop listening to D-Batch. That's what needs to happen. I mean, people can come out and name call and say, you said this on this day at this time and all that kind of stuff. Okay, fine, fair enough. But this is not on D-Batch. This is on you guys that still listen to him. But shout out to Eric for the $2 holler. I appreciate it. But that's the truth. The truth is you all keep listening to him. So, I mean, there's going to be some counter programming done. What's up, Seb? Also, big shout out. Yeah, we did hit, not just me, we did hit 1,250 subs, shockingly. That's 1,200 more than I thought I would have. So, but yeah, it's, just so you know, that's what that's up there for. So now I'm going to drop down into the sit cord sublink. And somebody better have an explanation on what a CU is. I want to know what it is. I want to know what it is. And I want to know why the developers are all of a sudden, they woke up and they got lazy. You know, maybe the Xbox Series X is a POS. I mean, we don't know. We don't know. So, and again, this is why I said I'm really willing to see it come out and see what they're going to be able to do with it. And shout out to Marlon Gaming because he made a good point. You know, instead of just throwing it under the bus, just give it till July. You know, but I sense the fear. Sony, all they have seen it. All Sony has to do is come out and show one multi-plat game running and then show another exclusive game running. Have 3 to 5 minutes of gameplay on each, and then that's it. It's over. You know, which is not true. I mean, if you still want to buy a Series X, which is beyond me, if you want to buy a Series X, then buy a Series X. But I mean, if you want to play these same games at 60 frames a second, you can get a Ryzen 2700X. Okay, you can get a motherboard, a 450B motherboard. You can get an SSD that costs like 60 or 70 bucks. The motherboard will cost you about 130. So right now we're at about 400. Let me go to my little ghetto calculator here. See, let's go 129 plus 169 for the CPU. Let's see, that's a CPU. It'll be about 69 for the cooling system. GPU is a 5600 XT, okay, Sapphire, which is going to be about, let's just call that 279. And let's get 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's going to cost about 59. I'm shopping the way I shop. And you can just hook that to your 4K monitor. You pay $700. Okay, you get free Xbox Go. Is that what it's called? Games with Go or something like that. You get that for free. Okay, you get Xbox Live for free. FRE. Not gonna pay. Nada. You can get Game Pass for what, $1? You know, so I mean, again, it's and you don't have to ever worry about a developer not optimizing your game because you can just set the game at 60 frames a second. You know. That's right, Paul G. The fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate
What's up, Craig?
leads to suffering. What's up, Jamal? I thought you were at work.
No, For some, when you said 7 o'clock, I was thinking about my time, not fucking East Coast,
Oh, okay.
because I'm 2 hours behind you.
Oh, all right.
So 7 o'clock my time, it would be 9 o'clock your time, but I'll definitely be at work though.
All right. Well, let's move to the sick chord. Is that okay?
All right, whatever's clever.
Okay. All righty, I'm here. Now Jemiah's here. All right, Jemiah. Jemiah is first up the bat. Jemiah is going to explain for the Xbox community, not what you all have been told, but we're going to get the real truth, the whole truth. So help me, Chinese Jesus. Yeah, we're going to put this on the Chinese Jesus because only the Chinese Jesus will lie to you constantly, like they've been lying to you. So Jemiah, take it away. What's the first question is what exactly is a T flop? Hello?
Yeah, what's up? A teraflop is just like a calculation. You know what I mean? All this is a compute units, teraflops. These are all measurements or calculations, like how fast something's gonna do something. You know what I mean? So
Uh-huh.
six teraflops is basically like 6 trillion floating point calculations every second. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So the more calculations you can do, the more things, polygons and things you can crunch, and it's this more the game can process at a time. So the
Okay.
more you have theoretically, the more you can do with it. You know what I mean? But it's not like a guaranteed end all be all measurement of a GPU.
Okay. Now I understand that. So for the Xbox community, it's just a theoretical computation that you might be able to do.
No, it's actual
PS5 has
this
Kraken
calculations.
compression
Like
on its
all
OS
computers
running
do
through its own
is
thread
crunch
through
numbers
IO has
at its
Ultra.
core. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Fast
So if
SSD
it can
and
process
Vulkan has
much
higher
more
frame
data
refresh
faster, it's
rates
gonna
on
be able
lower
to show
frequencies
you a
than
better output.
DirectX.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like
PS5 will
you
kill
couldn't like have a bunch
XSX.
of ray tracing effects and shadows and polygons and characters and physics if you don't have enough teraflops to compute all that with also in coordinates with the other parts of the GPU. You know what I mean? So like having not enough GDR, like the actual RAM for the GPU,
Mm-hmm.
because like on the consoles they're unified, they're using the RAM for the system and the GPU for some reason, but
Right.
on PC the GPU has its own RAM. You know what I mean?
Right.
If that's low, but you have a high clock speed, that would still bottleneck your shit. So everything has to be working together in concert to make something perform and look good. But just going by T flops and not having the other things around it to support the GPU is not gonna give you any benefits, as you can see with like the Resident Evil 3 running at a lower frame rates and shit like that compared
Uh-huh.
to the PS4 Pro.
Well, they had to compromise on that to get it to 60 frames a second. They had to compromise on the resolution. So the T flop didn't matter
Yeah.
because they're both running they have the exact same build. So does Mass Effect and Andromeda, which is trash, but they have the exact same ported build into each other. Both of them were 1800p checkerboarded to 4K, 4K 30.
I
So,
don't see what's wrong with checkerboarding or dynamic resolution. Like I
oh,
don't
I
see
don't
why you
either. I don't either. But I'm
negative
not the
4K has to be a fucking standard thing.
yeah, I'm not the one who was saying that it was going to be everything was going to be 4K 60. It was the
What up,
community.
sick? I see you in there, sick.
Yo, I'm just listening, bro. I took some of these fucking Tylenol because I got a headache, bro.
Right? It's hard to explain compute units and teraflops because like it doesn't really paint the whole entire picture. You know what I mean?
Well, it
Bro, you sounding like
does.
Mark Cerny up here, man.
No,
But it's just like people like, oh, it has 52 compute units. But they already told you that most of those compute units are not even utilized when you're making these games. You know what I mean?
But the ray
well,
It's just
tracing,
but yeah. Now, what exactly will the compute unit do? Because it's not doing it. I looked under my bed, I couldn't find my 52 compute units. Looked in the freezer, I looked in the mailbox. I looked in the mailbox twice, and I looked in between the pillows on the couch. All I found
oh
down
man.
there were 3 pennies and a stale pickle with ketchup on it. No, I did not find 52 units. So I need to know what these 52 units, what does one unit do? To hell with 52. So, so what does one unit do? And how come I'm at 30 frames a second on this Assassin's Creed? Oh, wait a minute. Shout out to Vega for the 119 sec. Says PS5 has Kraken compression on its OS running through its own thread through IO. has ultra fast SSD, and Vulkan has higher fresh refresh rates on low frequencies and DirectX. It does have Kraken decompression. It it is extremely fast if it's already pushing data that's already been decompressed. It may get to like 16 if it makes any difference to anybody. So, and that's only if not all the time. That's just if it's already been decompressed. But yeah, they do not want the data stored in the refrigerator to get stale. It's like you're having a grill out. You put the stuff in the fridge, then you set it all out to get it ready. That's what the PS5 is going to do. So it's just going to, if you are playing a game and you walk outside and it's only going to render what's in front of you. It's not going to, but it's supposed to. They allegedly can somehow, when you turn to the left, render everything there without popping in, which I need to see. It's unbelievable to think about that, but that's what they're saying they're able to do. But and again, that's what I mean. I'm not saying they can do it. We may have some pop in, but I'm willing to wait. So all right, but go ahead, Jemiah. Explain a compute unit. Somebody explain something.
It's a compute unit is just like
A little worker.
it's a
little worker.
Like NVIDIA calls their compute units stream multiprocessor. You know what I mean? It's just a group of things that do different calculations, like shaders, and you combine that with like a cache, and then like that's a complete compute unit. So you get a bunch of those together, and they're going to be the workhorse, the basis of your system. But like I said, it also depends on the architecture of the GPU. It depends on a lot of different things involved. You know what I mean? What frequencies your shit's even running at. Like, there's so many things involved in the processing thing. Like the new 3080s, I think they're gonna start with a base of like 128 SMs or compute units.
Yeah,
that's like double the part of the Xbox
Craig
Series.
biscuits
Series
are
X.
getting buttered
Like,
tonight. Tom
Yeah.
Warren
does
just
that
confirmed
mean
30
though it's gonna be
FPS
doing
through
like 12K?
Microsoft.
No, it doesn't mean that.
30
You know what I mean?
FPS.
Sure it is.
You can't
Yeah.
basically just go off of it's double the number, then therefore it's gonna do double the performance. Like that's what people are trying to do. And
Well,
it's
that's
not
what
how you
people were saying. But all right, so why? Let me give Sony Profit with the $5 holler here. He says that the biscuits are getting buttered tonight. Somebody named Tom Warren. I don't even know who that is. That sounds like the
That nigga
guy
blocked
that.
me.
Okay, he said he
I
just
don't know what I
confirmed.
said to that nigga, but that nigga blocked me.
Oh, okay. Tom Warren blocked you.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't even know who that is. But it said he just confirmed 30
Oh, that's
FPS through Microsoft. Who's?
That's the Microsoft dick sucker.
Oh, Tom Warren is.
Yep.
Yeah, that nigga blocked me. So
Okay, he said he confirmed 30 FPS. 30
He was
FPS
the
for
one
what?
who said he was the one, if you remember, Craig, who said Microsoft has a secret plan or strategy or some shit like that, and their big plan is to undercut Sony as far as the PlayStation 5 go, to undercut the price. Nigga, when you have less tech, it's easy to undercut the price, and when you got idiots who are convinced that your system is more powerful, I think that's their secret strategy is misinformation.
It is?
Yep.
No, you don't say.
That's their secret strategy. Right now, just based on numbers, you got a lot of people thinking that the Xbox Series X is more powerful than the PlayStation 5, right?
Oh yeah, it's not. I was told
Right?
it really isn't.
Hold on.
Okay.
No, it gets better though, Craig.
Okay.
It gets better. Now that you put that narrative out there, now that people have accepted that narrative, now when we price our console lower, you're gonna think you're getting the better console for a cheaper price. When in all reality, you're getting the lesser of the two for the cheaper price.
Yeah. No, I mean you're right. It's yeah, I was told twice by two different people today.
Tom Warren, Xbox bathwater sipper.
Yeah, I just figured that out. I looked it up. Yeah, I don't know who that is, but yeah, apparently he's some big Xbox guy. That's horrible though for them. I mean, they're people having a hard time today. I mean, they're having a harder time today. I don't know what was worse, that press conference on Thursday, and then you know what? So you got 24, 48, 72, about 115 hours later, they kicked in their second ball. Their scrotum is sore at this point. So because they got kicked in the balls, once on Thursday, then once on Monday. So, and there's going to be more information coming out by next week too. So, kick them whatever's left. So they're gonna find out some real nasty truths about what that console can and cannot do. But all right, so the compute unit is a little worker, and that's all. And that's all it does. That's trash. It needs to work harder. You know, I mean,
it can work harder if you have other things around it, like like a SSD and things like that, and different architectures and techniques to help
Yeah.
it work harder. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But just saying, go out there and lift all these bricks and to put them over there. I mean, it could do that because it crunches numbers, but it's not gonna be able to do it efficiently. You know what I mean?
right.
And there's gonna be some workers who are gonna be sitting on the fucking top, drinking water, hanging out, while the PS5. 30 brought it down to 36 so they can utilize them all properly, and instead of having extra compute units that are not doing anything.
Yeah, I said that to somebody today. I said, well, why in the world would you want a static clock when things are just sitting in the refrigerator getting stale? I mean, the guy that explained it to me, he actually does development. He's developed like things for apps. And he just said, well, at the end of the day, you don't want to create something that's not being used. He says a waste of time.
Put it this way, Craig. What happens when you have, a bigger processor, bigger chip? You're gonna have more heat, correct?
Like Usher said.
And for what reason? If the system isn't being fully utilized,
right? Yeah.
Why even create that problem for yourself?
Yeah, and this is something Rockstar Games said years ago when they made Grand Theft Auto San Andreas for the PlayStation 2. The guy said, and I didn't understand it, but he said something like, he said we were out of room with all the data that we put in there because, and he was talking, I understand it now. He said, and it makes sense because there's an airport in San Andreas, and even if you never go to the airport, like you never see it, you just don't go. All right, they still have to render it and have it there in case you do go. So that's just going to sit there. Now, I may play it and see the airport 1,000 times. Like, oh, there's the airport. But Jemiah may play it and he never see it because he goes a different way. He just plays it differently. It'd be like, you see helicopters, you see planes, you see all kind of things, but you don't, you know what I'm saying? But it's static. That's what people are like. That's what static does. It just sits there. Versus variable, you don't have to render.
All you niggas
what's going on now?
talking about?
We're talking we're talking
about the hardware.
We're talking about hardware. Yeah, we're trying to. I'm trying to explain to the Xbox community what's happening to them, like what's coming
Then why
out.
are you getting technical?
Because
Why?
I'm not. I'm comparing it to food in the refrigerator. Okay, I said it's.
No, that's too technical. It gotta be simpler than that.
Well, it is. Everybody has played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, so just imagine having to build something that you never use versus building something that you only see when you use it. That's the difference in the consoles. That's the difference in these consoles. Okay, one was,
Oh my bad.
Yeah, somebody.
Uncompetitive. If you look at any benchmarks of games, you can see how much the CPU and things are being utilized. No game just completely utilizes 100% of everything all the time.
To that nigga.
No goddamn sense.
Uncompetitive is on his grind right now. He on his grind, man.
What's wrong with him?
Let him be on his grind.
Listen, if the Xbox Series X is as strong as the 2080, the 2080 can only do Assassin's Creed Odyssey at 40 frames compared to 40 frames at 4K. So
nigga, why
unless
are
we
we
get a drop at the
comparing
super low setting,
PC?
I'm just saying, like, niggas is
You
niggas
PC niggas don't know nothing about 4K.
Nigga. Nah, nigga. I have a 4K TV. I don't care about all that 1440p, 144 frames a second shit. I'm not into that shit.
I figured out the best thing.
Yep.
That's what is PlayStation console.
You breaking up?
You're botting. You're botting. Yeah, you're botting real bad. You're botting like an X-bot.
Yo, who the fuck is sending you want to be friends tweets and shit? Like, what the hell is that about?
Bro, I don't know
I
what
don't
the
know.
fuck is
I've
wrong
been
with them
those
niggas,
too.
dog.
I don't know. I don't want to be
You
nobody's
you
friend.
getting those same things, Craig? I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is this, dog?
Yeah.
Like,
But
niggas like, do you wanna be
everybody's
friends?
getting them. No, I was on Black YouTube this afternoon, and those guys are getting them.
Nigga said black YouTube.
That's what it's called. So,
Want to be friends?
Stop it.
No, I don't want to be friends, nigga. I want you to disappear and never come back.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
I'm afraid to block it because it could be like a robot that starts spamming. So I'll just let it sit there. You know, it'll go stale.
That shit went straight to my spam. So clearly YouTube know what the fuck going on.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But yeah, the SSD, I had this beautiful talk lined out today on how, I was starting it online straight up. I was trying to be educational to the community, you know, and how the Xbox's SSD is geared more towards texture versus the Xbox being much more multi-purpose. And it doesn't mean that the Xbox has faster storage. It just means that it's going to concentrate on texture loading because that was the hardest thing for them to get. So that's what they concentrated on. Sony was able to crack that and then add more stuff. So, and Sony's SSD will be sold proprietary because it is faster at the 6th step. It's faster than all SSDs out right now. When it hits the market, whenever, November, they will have the fastest SSD on planet Earth up until next year. Then somebody will catch up. So I have to wait to see how they do it. So, but again, I love. Did you all see the company today? That's the guy that owned Titanfall or made Titanfall or worked there. How they're starting.
Respawn?
Yeah, how they're starting a new company that's only going to work on games for the new consoles, which means what I said 2 to 3 weeks ago about how these developers are just going to start making games based on these SSDs. And Sony, I'm not saying this because I'm a fanboy. Sony's PS5 has a major advantage when it comes to that. So not right out the gate, you're going to see a little bit of neck and neck. But the Sony's pony is going to turn into Secretariat at about the 4th year.
I got a rebuttal for that, Craig. I think Sony has been quiet for a very long time and for very good reason, bro.
Yeah, I know.
I expect a lot. I expect a lot from them when they finally do start talking. I don't expect nothing to be fucking trickled out. Bitch, we done let you slide for 3 years, my nigga. 3 years showing us the same shit, my nigga. At this point, when you start showing us stuff now, it better be stuff that just blows the doors off of. Like, nigga, when we see this shit, we better really want that PS5 when it released. Like, I'm not giving them the leeway like these Xbox is giving Xbox. Oh, well, there's 2 years. Just give you 2 more years. No, I'm not giving you 2 more years. Bitch, we done gave you like 3-4 years. Bro, we've been looking at God of War. We've been looking at Days Gone. We've been looking at Death Stranding. We've been looking at that for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, your studio's been doing something else. So unless you gave the motherfuckers time off to just sit down and gather their thoughts or some shit like that, I expect to see greatness, my nigga. And I'm not accepting anything less than that. And all that talk that Mark Cerny did, again, I'm holding that motherfucker accountable too. Because when that PlayStation released, we better see something that resembles what the fuck he was talking about.
As far as performance?
Yeah, no, I want to see like instant loading. I want to, because I want to see like games instantly load. I want to see you die and come back instantly. I don't want to take like Final Fantasy VII Remake is a great game, but the loading in that game is fucking outrageous.
That's true. That is true.
That shit loads forever.
Yeah.
Like everything you do just to save it, that shit takes like 10 minutes. You're like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
No, that's true. You're right about that. You're right.
On PC, baby, nigga. What you been playing it on?
Stop it, bro. Like, I beat the game already. Like, the game loads slow, bro. Stop it.
No, it does. It does. It's a slow
not like
load.
it's not. I'm over exaggerating, but it does take a long time. Like,
but it gives you little tutorials when you're,
like,
you know,
early,
when you're
it's
loading.
Like early Anthem.
Yeah.
It's like when Anthem first came out, the shit loaded for a long ass time.
Oh yeah, that was horrible. Yeah, that game's still low.
If I'm not botting, my bad, Dixon. If I'm not botting though, hey, does the new Xbox have that liquid cooling thing?
Yeah.
In the
vapor chamber?
The vapor chamber.
The vapor chamber and liquid cooling.
Yeah.
Nigga, vapor chamber was in Dreamcast.
Yeah. Well, vapor
Literally.
is technically liquid, so
They don't have.
but it
Nah, it
does.
don't work the way y'all think is working.
Yeah.
There ain't no water inside that goddamn
Yeah,
machine, man.
yeah. There's no space. Yeah, well, that thing is packed
Yeah.
in. Yeah, that is true. That thing is packed
You
in.
know,
The
they should have
form
put a little
factor of it is
radiator in there.
nice.
That's what they should have done.
A radiator, man. They should have put freaking games in there. That's what they should have put in there. So, but no, I mean, I just need to know what 52 CUs is. I just need to know what one is, and then I need to know what a T flop is because it's not from what I was told, and I'm looking at something here on Discord. I'm just gonna read it here. Oh damn it, where'd it go? I don't know.
Like I said,
can't
Craig,
go.
like compute units are a combination of different things on different architectures. So like
Oh, I
the
understand
compute
that.
unit
Yeah.
in the
fellas?
GCN is not going to be considered as compute units in the Ryzen or
Yeah.
Nvidia, or you know what I'm saying. So it's like I don't understand this fucking like fascination with compute units. Like
Well, I don't either because I understand.
if a company combines that with like a shitty rendering units and like other shit that's not fucking good, it's gonna be shit. Like that's why AMD usually has more T flops than Nvidia cards, but they don't fucking produce the same quality of output. You know what I mean? Like Nvidia just has better architecture. Period. Their company is just has more money and more resources to put into these GPUs. Like,
well, I mean, somebody.
AMD, Big Navi, as you call it, is going to be AMD's first foray into true high end fucking GPUs, and let's see what they can do with that.
Well, yeah, that's why the video was very exciting today when they posted that earning number that was higher.
I heard that Nvidia is doing a conference on the 14th, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that, because my nigga
oh, that's
John
Thursday.
come out there. What his name is?
Yeah,
that's
Thursday.
What's this?
But,
Ginseng, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
I'm always love the jacket, so it's a wrap for y'all niggas. You know that, right?
Yeah, well, wait and see. The video needs to do something because they're out here getting their clock clean. They've lost the 1080p market.
What?
They are. They lost the 1080p market. But which I'm trying to. All right, but look, I got somebody here. Look, I have somebody here that
what
says.
What kind of dope you on right now,
well,
bro?
I'm going back. I'm trying to go back to console
what?
here. I got my Mike's Hard Lemonade, but I've got somebody here saying that the GPU difference is a minimum of 40 to 50 FP frames per second on GPU alone. In addition, wait a minute. In addition to better RT. RT is that like ray tracing? So I mean that's what we got. That's what we're dealing with.
Hold on. Can I tell you something first of all?
Yeah.
First of all, if that is true, then that means that the PlayStation is gonna run Assassin's Creed at negative 10 frames per second, my nigga.
I know.
Can we really think? Just think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. Does that make any sense to you?
No, we're right now the only place that's going to play Assassin's Creed at 60 is Stadia and PC as of right now.
Shit.
No,
So,
I'm pretty sure like Sony is not beholden to this resolution shit. Like they'll drop a game down just to make the frames go up. You know what I mean? Like Xbox is the only one to like it has to be 4K. Fuck the frames. So that's on Xbox. So I don't understand why you would say that that shit would be 30. I think Sony is smart enough to allow the game to run at 1440 or 1840p upscaled. I mean, checkerboarded up. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point of why they developed that technique, right? For the Pro.
Yeah.
Like that was the whole point. And then shit had amazing results for Horizon, and the rest is history.
Yeah, the first party games, they really take advantage of it. And speaking of the Xbox, let's give it a love. Let's give it some love. Red Dead Redemption 2 is available
There's a
today on
reason
Game
AMD
Pass.
wants PS5
Yo,
specific
congratulations.
features.
Yo, if you like Xbox, don't let nobody talk you out of that shit. You know what I mean?
I agree.
You gotta fucking, if you enjoy the games they're putting out, you enjoy fucking grounded and bleeding edge, do it.
If you got an Xbox and you ain't bought that shit yet, then nigga, what are you?
Yeah. Rice Eater 79 says, "Yo, what's up,
That's the only current gen game on the Xbox One.
What's that?
Which one's that?
Red Dead Redemption.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's not even their game. And Rice Eater 79 says there's a reason AMD wants PS5 specific features. Technically, those are AMD's features, and they're just guinea pigging. And there's smoke to the RDNA 3 thing. There's a little smoke behind that, ladies and gentlemen. Just so you know. I'm
not gonna believe it. Any RDNA 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 unless they say it. You know what I mean? Like I don't see them just jumping whole generations of architecture just because they're putting out a system, and you know what I'm saying? Like I don't see how they go from RDNA 1 to RDNA 3 without even using RDNA 2 at all. That makes no sense to me.
Well, I mean, they can put little things of RDNA 3 with their RDNA 2, just like they have RDNA 1 with RDNA 2.
Then it's not going to be RDNA 3 then. Like, you know how it's architecture, correct? It's like a building blocks of the whole entire GPU. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
I understand. Yeah,
they're not just going to invent a brand new technique and put it halfway into their GPU. You know, it doesn't. I don't think that makes sense to me.
No, Impatient Fire says that ray tracing is overrated. I agree. I don't think it's going to have the effect of
ray tracing is not overrated. It's underutilized. Say with me.
Well,
it's being underutilized because current generation cards, even the RTX 2080 Ti, cannot properly handle the load of RTX. When you see next gen cards and you will start to see ray tracing come into its maturity, you know what I mean? Then we're gonna see the difference. Like I said when the shit first came out,
that is assuming facts, not in evidence. You should
but look
wait
at
for the card.
Deep Learning Super Slipping 2.0. Control went from a mess to like now that shit's enjoyable. You know what I mean? Like
that is better. True. It's not for me. I'm stuck.
Their drivers and software over time. And
not a mess for. It's not enjoyable to me. I'm stuck on that giant ball.
You're stuck because you can't beat it.
Yeah, I almost beat it. Well, I almost got to the end of that ball. So then it was hard as hell. Yeah, is it about CUs or it's got to be about CUs, VRS, ray tracing, or 12T flops?
No, it's about
nigga said VRS.
Which I think the X Factor gonna be.
For what? Like the TV show?
Joe Rogan? What?
Yeah, the X Factor.
Well, Xbox tried to make that X Factor this generation. I don't think they're going for TV this time, my guys.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like, what do you think it's going? I think I have an idea.
No
what the X
design PS5 specific tech watch road to PS5.
Like, what's going to be the biggest thing to set everything apart?
I think it has to be frame rates.
Yeah.
To me, it has to be frame rates. Like, I don't think there's going to be any huge graphical differences between the two consoles. It has to be frame rates.
Yeah.
It has to be which game performs the best.
Yeah, and AI. I think the AI will be much better. I think the physics should be better. That first game they showed at that Xbox thingy, whatever you want to call it, that first game they showed physically, the wind and the way you were having to push up against the wind and the way things were moving, that was actually pretty cool to see. Now, what was trash is when they called that automatic car like a horse from Red Dead Redemption or whatever. He called that car like a horse. And then, then they got pushed off the road. But the physics look pretty good.
So. Is it not getting already on PC?
What now?
That game that you just talked about.
Yeah, it's on PC, but we're not talking about that. Today we're talking about CUs, ray tracing, VRS, and what was that other thing I said we were going to talk about?
The X Factor that I was talking about.
Yeah, the X Factor. Man. So, yeah, So we talking about that. So what exactly will what the CUs do here, E1, that's going to help the Series X get off of this 30 frames a second?
Wow.
Well,
I mean,
oh my bad. He was talking to you. My bad. Myers, go ahead.
No, I mean it's just it's kind of disappointing, right? Because I would expect. Like even like Jemai, I will agree with Jemai on one thing, that maybe they should not be forcing 4K. They should give you an option like 1440p, and I think they can achieve the 60 frames with that. I think, because I know they're going to do with the next generation. They put it more shiny, more detail. That's pretty much not a huge difference for what you're getting for the Pro and the X. Now, it's just like more extra. But I ain't gonna lie, I would have preferred 1440p. If you can get the 60 with that resolution, I'm okay with that. I'm okay. Like, people will appreciate that. Give it options. Like, look how games like Neo give you a 720p, almost at 1080p, 60 frames, and 4K 30 on the Pro. Like, why they cannot give options like that?
The problem with Xbox, Matador, is they're talking about 120 frames. They're not even talking about 60. They're talking about 120.
Exactly. You know what, Jemima? That's the
already wound out.
That's the bad message. Look how.
I think the problem that console gamers have is we keep talking like we fucking PC. We don't have them same freedom. You know what I'm saying? We on a closed platform. There's no different specs. That's mainly why PC even got options because it's different spec on almost every PC. Some
Yeah.
PCs can do what others cannot. Some monitors or whatever the fuck. But we in a closed platform. So if you expect a lot of these games to have those, you in for a rude awakening
Mm-hmm.
because everybody has the same spec. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's just going like that's why I keep trying to tell niggas like we can't get into this PC talk. You know what I'm saying? Not even hating on PC. I'm just saying they got way more options than we do, and there's reasons why. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These developers ain't gonna spend extra time giving us multiple motherfucking. Most of them are gonna do like probably two like we got last time. Some shit based on frame rate, some shit based on resolution. But we ain't gonna be picking what the fuck frame rate or resolution we gonna be going to. You know what I'm saying? That's what I
Mm-hmm.
believe. I believe it's a closed platform and they're gonna wait. That's what I say.
Yeah, that's why niggas
Exactly.
kill me when you talk about minimum specs. Like, yeah, when you use those minimum specs, your game looks like shit and it
Yeah.
plays like the same thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
those minimum specs are not the specs that you should be comparing games to scale up and scale down for, because the minimum specs have that shit looking like fucking 900p, fucking 2 frames. You know what I mean? Because the PC will run any frame or frame rate or resolution that you can put it at. You know what I mean? Consoles have to have a minimum. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it drops too low or some shit, it's gonna stop working. You feel me? On your PC, you can literally play a game that shit can be 2 frames and that shit can be chugging along forever, and it should be terrible on your system, but you can still do it. You can't do that on console.
Yeah.
That is
No,
true.
but and like I said, like I never came to the fruition like, oh, these consoles can go toe to toe with a PC. Like, I never was like in that like in the mindset. Like hell
Yeah,
no. Like PC will get upgrades almost every year. Every year, consoles cannot keep up with that. Like, yeah, we
bro,
get some more powerful consoles with more that they can be more stable. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna sit here say yes, the PS5 and the Xbox, they can go toe to toe and they can keep up. No, no
bro. When the
way.
Xbox Series X dropped, Xbox were like at PC niggas next. Were you not, Thrash? These niggas is canceling PC when that shit dropped. I was like, yo, niggas
Yeah,
gonna be in for a rude awakening.
yeah, yeah,
And niggas
and
is.
yeah, and yeah, and
Shit.
Assassin's Creed,
They are.
it did it. Look at
Also,
that.
Ubisoft is mad dirty too. They gave Microsoft that shitty ass footage, and now they're gonna have their own show. Like, what kind of partnership is that? They left the niggas to dry, and now they're gonna go have their own show and show the actual footage and shit. Like, dirty.
Yeah, man. I don't know, dude. And that's the thing. Like I said, Aaron Greenberg, I like the enthusiasm
Time
and just trying to
exclusives
be
or
hyped.
however they want to do
Yeah.
it, but then
Huh?
force them. I mean, not force them, but like tell them to take advantage of the SSD, and they'll be making games that Xbox can't even play. And then once somebody come out and say, "Yeah, I made this game for PlayStation. It's not on Xbox because the Xbox can't handle this game," it's gonna be a whole different
But
story.
Thrash, listen. My PS4 has been getting games Xbox hasn't gotten, regardless of power or anything. You know what I mean? Just because of
Right,
sales and fucking market
right,
share. Like, so
right.
Xbox not getting games on PS5 is not gonna be anything new. You feel me?
No, it's not. But now what's gonna be new is the narrative of the Xbox with all its power cannot play this game due to its hardware.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
gonna
mean,
be
yeah.
watch when they say that shit, bro. You think no developers ain't gonna say that shit to try to sell the game? I would put it on the Xbox, but it's impossible on the Xbox because of the SSD or whatever the fuck.
I
You know
mean,
what I'm saying?
I can see situations like that on both sides. Like, somebody can claim, like, with the extra
How?
compute units, because
How?
they can just raw power it and be like, with the extra compute units, we're allowed to do this and
What you
do
mean?
that.
They can still play it on the PlayStation. It'll just be at a lower frame rate.
No, I know,
I'm
but
talking about games not even be able to run on the Xbox.
I'm saying, you can just
Fuck
say
lower
that, and
frame
that,
rate. They can't even get the game.
but you can just put it on the X and say that it won't run on PS4, PS5 because of such and such reason, because of the more
What,
power.
what reason?
And
What reason would it be right
it,
now?
it
The
doesn't,
Xbox One X
Thrash, it's a
and the
lie, but it doesn't
PlayStation 4
matter.
Pro
It's all about
have a
all about.
bigger gap. The X and the Pro have a bigger gap than what the 5 and the series will, right? They both have the same RDNA
Yeah.
basically shit, right? The only difference is the SSD, which is a massive difference in comparison to where they can actually do shit with that motherfucker that you can on the Xbox. You know, so I've never heard of a game that couldn't run on the PS4 Pro because of the power gap. You know what I'm saying? Because of the teraflop gap.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
You
I
know?
mean, any game can run
That's
at any
not
resolution
true.
that you make
Sony
it
Now,
run
might be
at.
playing major chess right now, bro. Like this
no,
niggas might be
well,
playing
okay, I can tell
major
you right
chess
now, Sony's PS5 will have a major advantage going forward because of their SSD and the way these developers are going to program games to go get their information. So this is why the Series X. This is why the Series X is going to let you swap it out. They'll let you swap it out because they're not stupid. They know that it's going to happen, and this is also why. And don't be shocked. This is for people
Wait,
3 to 5 years down the road. If
swap it out.
their SSD. I think it's going to be they're going to let people swap it out. Something with
No, they
Seagate,
can't. They got proprietary memory cards for a reason.
but they're
They ain't letting
working
you
with
swap out shit.
Seagate for their to
Yeah,
help
Yeah,
that out.
for those
unlike
proprietary memory cards,
yeah,
the
unlike the
SSD only runs
PS5,
at the speed that it runs.
the PS5 memory card, I mean SSD, you can switch it out yourself, but the
You can switch it out. That,
Xbox
Yeah.
Series X, you can't switch it out. You can just use memory cards to put in and out of there. Like
yeah.
you can actually open
It's
it
a
up,
wrap.
take it out. The one
Well, no,
inside the system.
that's got to change, or else they will
No,
not.
I
They'll
mean,
need
that's the way it's
that's
built.
got to change.
That's why they have the
It's
memory
not gonna
card slot.
change.
Oh, the memory card. All
Hey,
right, well, I meant the memory card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can get a
Okay.
different memory
Hey,
card, but
So,
the one
yeah.
inside
that
of it, the
strategy I
internal,
just said, bro.
Well, then they're in trouble.
That strategy I just said is what Sony's been doing since it started, bro. That's how they beat Nintendo.
Yeah. Well, that's
Nintendo was 2 times the power of the PlayStation,
yeah.
but it couldn't do the things PlayStation could do.
Right. Well,
You
they're
know?
in trouble.
Like same thing with the 360 and the PS3.
Well,
Metal Gear Solid
Microsoft's in trouble. Then.
was on the Xbox 360 because they couldn't do it.
Yeah, Microsoft's in trouble. They're not going to be able to pull their information as fast. Now, what will happen is they'll code to the lowest common denominator, which will be the Xbox. But that won't start happening for another 3 to 5 years, which is starting to happen right now because the people developing their games, it won't be out for 2 to 3 years. But you guys, they'll see. These guys, they'll see. These games that are coming out right now that are on the GCN architectures, it's going to be like this. But we knew this is what we've all been saying for like 6 months, you know. So they didn't want to listen. They decided to listen to a 3-letter podcast with somebody with a Southern accent, and he lied to me. That's what he did. So, yeah.
No, but I mean, like I said, like, and that's the thing, Craig. Like, I also blame Aaron Cheeseburger, this guy over there on Twitter, hyping it up. 66 is the standard, blah 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 blah, and look what happens.
Well, it will be the standard in 2 to 3 years. He's not doing is he's not finishing the statement. That's all. He's telling a truth, but he's not telling like the whole truth. The guy that told the truth is Matt Booty. He said we're not going. He did. He told the truth. We're not going to develop any games for this console for 2 years. There's your truth.
Okay. And if that's the case, that we gotta wait 3 years for that to happen,
yeah.
I would not say anything, Craig, because like if I was going out over there, right, putting that the word in, like I said, look, Assassin's Creed, 30 frames. What the hell happened? And Greenberg, what happened with that message that you said? You know what I mean? Like that's what you delivering the wrong message, and you getting people confused. That's why I
wasn't confused.
They don't say shit. They don't say nothing on Twitter. Nothing.
Yeah, that's true. They're too busy trying to design their console. But no, I don't disagree with that. But Aaron Greenberg is telling the truth. He's just not. He's expecting them to fill in the blanks themselves. That's what King Thrash was saying. If you make it too complicated, it has to be the dog ran home for them. They have a noun, a verb, and a preposition. You know, if you can even add an adverb, the dog ran home fast. You know, you can't.
All I gotta say, Craig, is regardless of whatever power you think that these consoles have, it's all gonna come back down to development. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if first party doesn't carry their respective platforms, and that's how it's gonna be. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't expect third party to do anything. Like I said, we still have a bunch of games, Biomutant, Dying Light, fucking Watch Dogs, Legions. We have a bunch of games that got delayed that will come out next year in 2021 that are going to be old ass games from 2019, 2020. You feel me? So we need to halt all these expectations until next E3 or some shit like that. But I gotta go to work. Y'all niggas be easy. PC Master Race, you know what it is.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. Now I'm about to wind it down. I gotta go to work tomorrow. So, but yeah. Anybody got any final words on CUs and T flops?
Nothing, man. Just I don't know. We'll see how these consoles do, bro. Like I'm still getting more games for the PS4. I'm not in no rush to get a PS5, unless they bring some exclusives that are like only on PS5 that I gotta jump and hurry up. I will do that, but we'll see. We'll see how everything plans out.
Well, I heard that. Cool.
The way I see it, I thought my shit was muted. My fault.
Nah,
But
you good.
the way I see it, the way I heard from what I'm understanding is it's more difficult the more CUs you got. Sony got a higher speed with 36 CUs to make up for all that. That way, these developers won't have a harder time doing shit, making it for the doing 36 instead of 52.
Yeah.
So
and I think the Navi CUs are actually doing like 50% more work. I've been given a lot of numbers, so I was gonna go through and then kind of sequence today, but then literally when I was starting to get my notes together again, all this stuff happened. I'm like, oh well, I'll just push this till Thursday morning, and that way I can have a couple days to go through it. So yeah. But all right, guys, that's I'm a bounce on off. Like I said, I just wanted to jump on real quick and make those general announcements. And again, this is the fanboys again taking a giant L, putting stuff out there that until they got their facts and evidence. I don't know why they didn't wait for some real world testing. Something when they didn't see Assassin's Creed on Thursday at that gameplay thing. That was your final warning. I'm like, there's something going on and they just don't know about. And it turned out there's no gameplay ready because had they shown it, it gets analyzed, and they wanted to control that message, not give it to Digital Foundry or NX Gaming or whatever to break down and say this is only 30 frames a second, because that's what would have happened. And then it's a whole other can of worms they got to kill. So, but that is it, guys. I'm gonna bounce on off of here, like I said. Thank everybody for jumping on real quick because this is unplanned and everybody's in different time zones. But somebody said a desktop CPU is significantly more capable than a CPU and an APU. Yeah, that's from Twitter. Yes, I know that, but apparently the Xbox community does not understand that a separate CPU. GPU is always more powerful than an APU, but now this is just something that they've got to learn. But all right then, guys, that is it. I'm going to bounce like a bad check. So thanks for coming by. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Rice Eater, thanks for the super chats. Real Legends, thanks for coming through. Yeah, man, I gotta go do my shout outs here. Uncompetitive, it's Mom Gaming. Shout out to it's Mom Gaming. Man, who else was here? Yeah. Man, there's a lot of people came in here. Impatient Fire. S2N Illusion, how are you doing? Viger, thanks for the super chat, always, brother. Cryptopsy, what's happening? Glad you were here. Eric, the Raider, the greatness of the Raiders. The quarterback must go down. The quarterback must go down hard. Jutaku Game 3. Shout out to everybody that was here, everybody that I missed. I promise I will get to everybody on the next podcast. I'm starting to get sleepy at this point. But guys, that is it. I'm going to bounce. And thanks for coming. Yeah, we hit 1250. I can't believe it. Shout out to everybody. Enjoy your evening. Stay safe and kiss the baby.